But I'm specifically in charge of the digital champions, not really in charge of them, but trying to coordinate them and find out what they're doing. They are really working very hard for digital inclusion in many ways. So, they are what we call our ambassadors for the Digital Agenda Europe. They're appointed by their member states to help every European become digital. And it all started in December 2011 when the European Council stressed that digital single markets, that's really important. And that's when, as Robin said, Vice President Cruz decided that having a digital champion in each country would be a very good idea. So in 2012, on Valentine's Day, it's a message, the European Commission President sent a letter, of course not an email, to all the heads of states and asked them to appoint a digital champion. And today we have 25 of them, actually. The whole initiative is actually inspired by the United Kingdom, who had already appointed Martha-Lane Fox as their digital champion. She also became their EU digital champion. She's the chairwoman of an organization called Go On UK, which aims to make the UK the world's most digital skilled nation. So she's a role model, of course, but the champions have very different profiles. Some are government, or they are head of a digital agency or a digital commission. Some work for civil societies or national libraries, the ones you might know perhaps a little bit better. There are also entrepreneurs. Some come from, I think, the academia circle, or they work for media. But they all aim to build an inclusive, digital Europe for everyone. And of course, as they have different profiles, they also have different interests. The base, though, is of course to have a connected continent. So some work very hard to make citizens connect to the internet and provide computers. And Biblionet in Romania they have a digital champion called Paul Baran, and they have managed to equip 2,300 libraries with 10,000 computers. The same program is in Lithuania, who's also a digital champion. Other champions are determined to establish Wi-Fi zones, both in urban and rural areas. For example, in Cyprus and Bulgaria, this is one of their main aims. Many of the digital champions are into opening up education. They're involved in many different projects in teaching digital skills to women or children or unemployed or other or disabled or other disadvantaged groups. On this picture you can see Lord David Putnam, who's the Irish digital champion, and Nelly Cruz. And Putnam, he is not only a champion in filmmaking, I think he has 10 Oscars or something, but he is also working very hard on education, on early adoption of digital technology and online education, and promoting skills and encouraging teachers to share their materials online. And also teachers, we know, have an issue with copyright, and DigiConnect is trying to address this in various ways. This was a question from someone earlier. And then this picture is one of these hubs where they have organized a group that are called the Future Creators. And the aim of this program is to develop young people's digital media skills and encourage them ultimately to consider a career in the digital media or in digital technology. And all participants in this program are between 13 and 16, and they learn coding, filmmaking, app development, and computer programming. So I'm going to show you some concrete examples. Teaching basic coding skills to different groups is also one of the priorities of quite a few of the champions. The Finnish champion, she founded a project called the Rails Girls, which has now spread all over the world, not only in Europe, but as well in China, Singapore, the US. And this focuses on women and giving them a first experience with the programming, first experience on internet. And the Belgium champion, Saskia van Oestelen, she does many things, but she's also organized something called Coder Dojos, where you learn coding for children also, but also for CEOs of companies. And on this picture, you see that actually the children are teaching the CEOs what to do. Other champions focus on social media workshop, and this is from Austria, and she really targets those who would not have the opportunity to have a practical experience of digital technology at work, and they are trained in wikis and blogs and social networks, and also giving this first experience. And it's quite a big initiative in Austria. In Slovakia, we have another interesting project called the School Dance. They have connected 300 schools and kindergartens who have participated in this program during spring. And the goal of the School Dance project is to create a generation of young people that have confidence, and they can create something creative on the internet. So they're combining building a team, dancing, making posters on the internet, and using digital technologies. It was also a question on the Grand Coalition for Digital Jobs and Skills. And some of our champions have really been instrumental to the launch of these coalitions, especially in Poland, Spain, and Lithuania. And the idea is to involve not only the government, but civil society and the private sector, and to broaden digital participation, build trust, raise awareness, and in any way help in internet literacy and create jobs. Many of the champions are also into promoting entrepreneurship, startups, and innovation. The Bulgarian digital champion, for example, has started a startup advisory board, and she also runs a startup week. And there are some applications that are already stemming from these projects that are already online. I saw one a few days ago. A free app for conference organizations, quite interesting, where you can book programs, and I can send it to you later. And the Cyprus champion, who also runs a lot of competitions for young people. Some of the champions are actively involved in fighting youth unemployment. This is again the Belgium Saskia van Oestelen. And she launched a competition for young people together with the Flemish Youth Unemployment Organization. And they created an app to link young people with job opportunities. And it was a testing, but now it went so well that this Flemish Unemployment Organization are actually going to put this app into production. So today, as I said, there are 25 member states that have digital champions. They are really creative and motivated and innovative. They are focusing mainly on ICT in education, digital inclusion, access, and there are also some that work very hard on e-government. However, as was shown in one of the research reports, they have problems in time and money. There is not enough time for them, and they don't have enough money because they are just appointed. It's not a job, so they do their job also, and then they are the digital champion on the side. So funding has to help and actually being listened to. So although they are appointed by the member states, it's not always so that the heads of the government actually listen to what they have to say. So we're going to have our 5th meeting in a month's time, gathering them together. Some of them will be there for the first time, and some maybe for the second. So it's a group that's being established. But we think we think they are able to do a really good job, and we're really working hard to make heads of state listen to them. This is our aim for 2014.
I have a question not about digital champions, but about something else. Do you read an article of heard about initiative of Zuckerberg and two chief of the Google? They talk in general what 2 milliard of the population of planet who already have an access to internet should help to organize the 5 milliard who rests to this access. And what do you think, which role could play European Union to unify such kind of initiative from the business? And another point, people, actually everyone would like to have a computer and access to internet, but majority of people use this access for advertising, for games, and how it's rather questions to pedagogues and psychologists how to make a reasonable balance, or to put the accents of people to look for some useful information to improve their life. And my personal opinion, what it's policymakers, presidents should speak more about this problem of e-inclusion, self-education, point people more often to this problem, and how to do that, how to make them put more attention to this question. Thank you.
I'll just jump in there and say, so can we address that question in saying, to what extent can the digital champions, who at the member state level and linking the European Commission to member states, get involved in that kind of issue? I'm just trying to make the question fair to Annika because she's presenting about the digital champions. So perhaps that's the way to come back to think about whether the digital champions can get involved in sort of public policy, social issues as the internet affects them.
Yeah, I think they are already in many member states. In the UK, this Go On UK is also about becoming your own. You can become yourself the digital champion, and you help your neighbors or someone else. So I think this is an initiative that is, of course, I don't know who came up with the idea, maybe Zuckerberg, maybe not, and that can be spread easily in member states. And I think also the champions are picking up on them, picking up on all ideas that actually could work. So that's an excellent idea. I think it's great. On the balance between useful information and gaming, I'm sorry, I can't really give an answer. I'm a mother, and it's a big issue, yeah, with my children.
Our second presentation is by Annika van der Meulen, who's the marketing director at OCLC. You start manager. Sorry.
Don't leave me another title.
Sorry, marketing. Sorry, my apologies. Marketing manager at OCLC, based in the Netherlands. Last year, those of you who came to the conference last year know we finished with an excellent presentation from Christy Hills from Seattle, from OCLC, who presented the Geek the Library initiative to promote public libraries. And there are a lot of questions asked about how transferable that program was from a US setting to a European setting. And I think Anita is about to tell us the answer. So yes. Over to yourself.
Okay. Just yeah, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Annika van der Meulen, marketing manager OCLC. I'm slightly intimidated by the knowledge in this room because I'm a marketing manager who just started 3 months ago at OCLC, so it's a very steep learning curve, but very interesting. Most of the people at OCLC have a library background. I don't have a library background, but it makes it more interesting for me because I'm a heavy user of libraries. So I think it gives me another view on your line of business. Just a short introduction. Most of you know who OCLC is. OCLC is a non-profit membership organization. It's one of the largest library service providers, networked library service providers And at the moment we have about 70,000 libraries in 170 countries connected in OCLC. OCLC is a company which is run by members. It's member-owned, member-driven. The members have a say in what we do. And people at OCLC are breathing libraries, I can say. As we said, we are a non-for-profit, so we reinvest in communities and libraries. Well, how do we do that? How do we reinvest? One of the items which is very near at the heart of OCLC is awareness for libraries, because there's still a huge job to be done in people going to libraries and the awareness of libraries. And because we are a non-for-profit, we reinvest in campaigns for library awareness. As Robin said, last year there was my colleague from the US was here and she presented the Geek the Library. I hope that most of you saw this presentation, so I'm just going to go back, a short flashback to see the results of this campaign, because we have some new results in, so that would be nice. The goal of this campaign was to improve long-term funding by educating the community about the role of the library. The return on investment could come in many forms and will be different in each country and in each community. The results in December 2012 were really enormous. There was a lot of rumor, there were a lot of press, there was a lot of response from the community, people who started rallying for their library. The libraries found it a brilliant campaign because the awareness was raised and everybody was very positive about it. Of course, that's very nice, but what did it mean for everybody? There were some libraries who got additional funding. There were libraries who were supposed to close and they didn't close. There were librarians who didn't get a raise for 5-6 years and got a raise. So various results were getting from these campaigns. And as of today, there are over 1,200 libraries participating now in this campaign. So that means I can say that it's very successful. This was let's say, the American campaign, I Geek Worms. And of course, how did we do that now in the Netherlands or in Germany or in France? How are we going to do that? I Geek Europe, bring a successful American campaign to Europe, as you said. How do we do that? The place of libraries in the community, USA versus Europe. We say Europe, but Europe, as we heard already, there's a lot of differences. So people are looking differently at the library, they're looking differently at the community. The community sense is different, so that's a challenge from a marketing perspective, because we can't say, okay, we're all the same in Europe and we all react the same. So the activities in libraries are different, of course, I don't have to explain that to this audience. And the consumer use of the media in the libraries is also slightly different. I said community sense. So yes, one Europe, but a different marketing approach, because we don't all do it the same way. So there's just started a pilot in Germany. It started, I think, the 17th of September, so it's really recently started. And in Germany they adapted the campaign slightly because they thought it should be a little bit more fun. So, which is, you can see from the pictures. The pilot libraries at the moment are in the DACH area, as we say. So we have pilots in Germany, we have them in Switzerland, and we have in Austria. And as I said, because it's just started, I can't give you hard figures yet of what is happening as a result. But what we can say is that it raises a lot of awareness, and everybody is talking about it. So that's interesting. As you can see, some of the examples what we did in Germany. Of course, we didn't stray completely from the American campaign because it was so successful. It's just a slight adaptation in the way of making the images work. So what is happening? Just to give you some examples of what is happening, what people do with it. What is very important in this campaign is the staff of the library itself. As we heard also on this panel, is that it is very important for people who visit the library that they have a sort of interaction with the people who are there, and also an interaction with the librarians themselves, because that enhances the experience of going to a library. It's very important that staff gets into geeking, as we say, or in Germany they call it Bibliofreak, because they didn't the Germans didn't like to adapt the word geek, because after some research they said no, freak is a better word in Germany. So this is one of the small libraries in Germany. What they did is the staff really, they put on the t-shirts, they made a whole corner of geeking. So what is the objective for this small library, because it's a small community, really to get the people in, to get to talk to them, to see what is the value of their library, and that it's in the heart of the community. I think by heart this library is in a community of 20,000 people, so I mean it's very important that they interact with the community members. So this is one of the local fair activities. So the library staff is there, and we can keep or go